Hey guys, it's Rebel Queen. Okay, okay, sorry, tongue-tied there. Okay, this is gonna be kind of a two-part overview. I'm doing both the Kamen Rider's Revice so far and the Ni no Kuni so far review. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom so far. Okay, first off, we're at that 5-episode mark on Kamen Rider Revice. So far the series has been pretty good. And kind of like I said when it first showed up, when Kamen Rider Revice first showed up at that and gave us that little teaser bit on that little ending bit for Kamen Rider Saber, and with the information we had kind of gotten so far about Kamen Rider Revice, it was so far kind of reminding me a bit on Kamen Rider oh god. Den-O, there we go. It was kind of reminding me a bit of Kamen Rider Den-O with the fact that they made contracts with the Imagine, and now here we are with Revice where they're having to make the contracts with the demons. Now kind of going into these 5 episodes, I'm kind of standing by that, where basically Whoa! Okay! Sorry, I guess my cat wants attention. But as I was saying, like with Kamen Rider Vice, it's basically so far in these 5 episodes, you make using these stamps, which if you're not using the driver, you basically push it against somewhere on your body, and you make a contract with the demon, and it will do, depending on like what's going on in your life, it'll, like if there's some big bad thing going on in your life, it'll deal with that. Because like in these first 5 episodes, we had like the caddy for a golfer the golfer was ignoring him, going like, well, if you do this, and he got one of the stamps from the bad guys, and he terrorized the golfer. Then the golfer got a stamp, and he went after the caddy. And then in these last 2 episodes, which kind of showed the fact that an advanced thing, like if you really give yourself over, and if you sign an advance contract, yeah. But yeah, so I'm pretty much, but with our main Kamen Rider, who apparently the family owns a bathhouse, basically he has like a little inner demon, which we all have a little inner demon. At some point he's like whispering like, dee 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 dee. So he can basically hear his little inner demon, so when he dons the driver and he makes the contract, his inner demon gets a physical form, and he's like, let's eat and terrorize the little humans. So he's basically having to keep his demon in line and get him like, no, we're doing this. And it's funny. So you get a little bit of that comedy there, which, like I said, it kind of reminds me of Den-O in that aspect. Because if you remember back in Den-O, basically when all the Imagines are taking over our Kamen Rider Den-O's body, he's kind of like going like, he's having to kind of go, quit doing that, or it's like, I'll let you do it, but you have to do this. So it's funny. Or because people don't realize he can hear, and after he first transforms into Revice, he can actually then see the kind of see like a ghostly image of his demon that is attached to him. Because it's not until he transforms that he can that Vice, the demon, can actually be physically apart from him. So he's like, shut up! Or it's like, no, we're not doing that. And they're like, what are you talking about? Kind of like back with Deno when he's dealing with the different Imagines and they're taking over his body and all that stuff. And he's having all those different mood changes and they're like, what the hell? Though at the same time, it's got a little bit of Kamen Rider Kuga flair, because at least I think, if I'm remembering right, yeah, it is Kuga. Because in that first episode, they say the V stamps came about because of an archaeological thing done by one of the scientists' father, great-grandfather, one of the two. And that's how the V stamps and all the technology came about, but because of others wanting the technology and stuff so they can, wanting the powers and stuff so they can revive this even greater demon, there was a big explosion and destruction, so like a lot of the V stamps were lost. Hence why the military, which is the Phoenix Co., which deals with all the dead mans and stuff, was created. Which led to all the the driver technology and stuff being created for Kamen Rider Revice, which, like I said, this is kind of reminding me, but it's that historical aspect and all that that's kind of reminding me of, I'm hoping I'm remembering. There's so many different Kamen Riders. So it's like, if I'm remembering right, it's Kuga, because if I'm remembering right, Kuga was this great warrior, and he was fighting the Gronkies, if I remember his enemy names right, and he had to become such a great warrior and all that stuff. So it's like, and it was only because the Kamen Rider who became the protagonist who became Kuga, and the reason the whole Kuga stuff got started was because of the archaeological investigation that unlocked the Kuga article belt that started all that stuff. So it's like there's a little bit of that Kuga flair there because of the archaeological stuff that started all that. So it's a little bit mixed there. As long as I'm remembering that right. If it is Kuga. If not, I'm sorry. But it's like, it's Deno for the whole contract thing, and it's Kuga, if I'm remembering it right, for the whole archaeological, and starting the whole shebang off. If not, it is one of the other earlier Kamen Riders. I'm just sorry for messing up which Kamen Rider. But so far it is pretty fun, and Daichi, the current Kamen Rider, who is the one doing all this, apparently, originally it was supposed to be his younger brother who got the belt and started all this, but when the whole situation happened that caused him to start everything happened, apparently his brother couldn't actually handle everything. He got a little too scared. So in these kind of following episodes, his brother has been kind of dealing with like, you need to do this and all that stuff, and there's been like that little byplay there. So apparently Phoenix does have a second Kamen Rider belt. So it is going to be interesting to see like how they do their secondary rider. Because like when dealing with like something like this, it's always interesting to see like how they do the secondary rider. Because I mean, since they're kind of going with a Deno feel here with the contracts, I'm kind of almost expecting something similar to like how the Deno, something like with the Deno secondary writer, which the name escapes me right now, but it should be interesting. So far it has been, it's only 5 episodes in right now, but so far it has been pretty consistent and funny, so, and it has shown off great potential, especially like how they've done with the V-stamps, like, kind of like how we saw when they briefly introduced Revice in the Saber episode. Like, they use the different V stamps to give Revice like different animal combos, and like as a finisher, Revice and Vice will like combine into like a giant form of the animal, and then take down the leading V-stamp animal, like if it's and it'll just be funny, and like Vice will then go 3, 2, 1, and boom! So it'll just be funny to see like how things progress from here on out. So that's about it so far. I would give it like at least a 9-ish so far, because it has been pretty funny, and honestly, I think it is kind of a neat concept with the whole inner demon thing, because I mean, like I said, we all have our own little inner demons, so the way they are kind of utilizing that is pretty unique. So moving on, the Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. Okay, I started playing this game like last week, and I probably could have gotten you guys this review sooner, but with the way this game progresses, it was a little hard to tell like where would be a good stopping point to do an overview for you guys. So honestly, I probably could have just kept on playing and then went and finished the game and went, oops. So far, unlike with Ni no Kuni 2, it seems like they don't do a whole lot of the, oh, we reach a point and then there's gonna be a big like animated sequence with voice acting, which I'm kind of sad about that, but sometimes but what can you do? They change stuff up between the games all the time, so they did change up the battling system. Instead of like in Ni no Kuni 1, where it was kind of more like a JRPG tactics system, where it's like you go between the different characters and go, oh, I want you to do this, this, and this. You have control of one player, and well, you technically in the first game you only had control of one player, and then you had to wait until and then you had a cooldown time between their between their attack and stuff. But in this one, you have control of the one character, and then you're basically button mashing with attacks. So like, it's not like JRPG where you have to JRPG style where you're going, okay, attack, cooldown, attack, cooldown, attack, cooldown, and you're keeping an eye on your magic and stuff while doing that. But well, you still kind of got to keep a watch on your magic and stuff, because depending on some of the attacks you do, those do still require magic, but it still does kind of, you do still see like a lot of the familiar settings and stuff, like, but the game, like Ding Dong Dell, but I haven't gotten to that part in the story yet, but you do kind of start off there briefly in the beginning, but, and they do have, they have changed up some of the stuff, like the no familiars, it said instead like Kingmaker stuff, but that stuff is like totally, like I said, way different. But, and like same with the side quests, like instead of like, if you remember with like in the first game, you have the Swift Solutions shops where if you go do those side quests and all that, you get like various interesting stuff, and then you get the stamp card where that could help you power up for like later stuff. Instead, the Swift Solutions is still there, but the tokens instead will net you like items. You can trade the tokens in for like items or stuff, and after you establish your kingdom in the game, you can then use those tokens in order to scout more citizens for the kingdom. And there is still side quests, but a lot of the side quests are generally to help get you more citizens, or then or like, oh, you're doing like stuff for the citizens and stuff, which it's not bad, honest, or stuff to help your kingdom grow, because it's also kind of a combination of I haven't played Civilization, but I think Civilization is kind of like also one of those where you build up your city, kingdom, or whatever, and then you have and all that, but you don't. But in Ni no Kuni, you don't go to war with anybody. So it's kind of like you pretty much build up your kingdom, like you pretty much build all the different shops and all that stuff while you're going through the main quests of the game and all that. So it's kind of like that. So far for me, it has been fun. I'm getting that feel from the first game where you're playing through a Ghibli game with the music and stuff. It's just like I said, instead of unlike in the first game where it had like all those cutscenes and stuff, there's not as many of those, but like I said, they're free to change that stuff up. I'm probably gonna do like what happened with the first game, and I'm probably gonna 100% the side quests and stuff, like what happened, well, or as close as I did in the first game, because that last side quest kind of did me in. But I'm probably gonna I'll probably 100% like I did after but like I said, so far the game has been fun, and it's been really interesting. So so far I'd give it an 8.5, because it is really fun, but it'll be kind of more, if you love the first game and you don't mind some of the changes that they have made, or if you're also just like a big Ghibli fan, you'll enjoy it. It really just kind of depends on the person. Oh, and I don't think I ever mentioned this when I did the review on the first game, because I found this out kind of either before I started playing the first game or while I was playing the first game. They actually did a Ni no Kuni movie. It is in no way tied into any of the games, Though some people do speculate that it is kind of somewhat tied in a little bit, because one of the characters is kind of dressed up in Oliver's clothes. And it does kind of follow the bylaws of the stuff with the whole, oh, people from either world are connected because of some of the stuff that goes in on the movie. But if you want to, I don't know if it's still on Netflix because of how they rotate stuff out, but if you want to check it out, it is on Netflix. So, well, it might still be on Netflix, I don't know. But I'm not going to ruin any more of that for you, so anyway, so that's it, guys. Stay safe. Halloween is coming up. If you have any little trick-or-treaters, I know, be careful out there. I mean, if you're going to take them trick-or-treating, I know the pandemic stuff is kind of wonky, depending on which area you live in, so, or just get them a big bag of candy and let them have fun in a costume, so, but, and just stay safe, guys. I mean, I know because I mean, we have just kind of been going up and down on the pandemic stuff, on the COVID stuff, so, but yeah, that's about it, so, see you guys later, bye.